Hello, everyone, and welcome. We're going to draft Zendikar Rising. I felt Zendikar today. Started a Theros Beyond Death draft yesterday with you all and didn't finish it because we kicked it to Marshall for Marshall's stream. And then I co-drafted with Marshall for a little bit. That was so fun. I hope we make that a regular thing. I haven't talked to Marsh since I jumped off of his stream yesterday, but it felt so great to be draft chatting with my buddy Marshall and hanging out with a gang of great viewers and listeners. And so I hope we can do that again next week. And maybe I'll try and stay on longer next week. I had to bail yesterday for life stuff. You know how that goes, right? But I did want to come back to Zendikar Rising today because I like Theros, but I think Zendikar is better. And even though I've been playing more of it lately, I kind of also want to work out closing out our 4X rares. It always feels good to do that. And he made it at number 13 Mythic. Wow, he just must have cruised yesterday. Awesome. Good to hear that too. So if you're trying to make it to Mythic in Constructed, though, you're probably getting a lot of singles digitally for your old arena climb, but maybe that gives you the itch to build that deck in paper. You know where I'm going with this. My sponsor, CardKingdom.com, will sell you the cards you need for that deck in paper. You can get them through my affiliate link in the panels down below, in the YouTube notes, in the chat links here, and we will. By doing that, you will let them know you got there from here, and that helps keep me on the air. They do track it. Like when you click that affiliate link, everything you do with them for the next couple of weeks is attributed to my stream and my content, and it really does help keep me here. So if you want to support the stream through some magic purchases you were going to make anyway, Card Kingdom not only will help you out with that for your needs, but you'll help keep me on the air. So thanks to everybody who does that. It really helps, and I appreciate it. We're going to jump in here for some gems, get into the draft view. We're getting a pretty good handle on this format, I think. It's kind of, I'm willing to be wacky today too. I don't know. If we want to chase a weirder, sometimes less fruitful angle, we could, although this is traditional, right? Thank you so much for the sub. Appreciate that. Maybe I tend to want to take the best of threes more seriously, though, because of the steep that 3-0 is such a huge prize. That doubling of the entry makes it effectively the steepest max win prize there is on the system. So if you're gonna choose a place to be spiky, really it's best of 3. Which is funny because that's where they don't do rank and it doesn't affect your climb on the ladder and everything. More subs. Thank you. Royal MTG. Really kind of you all. Oh, let me change my info here while we're waiting anyway. This is... Oh, that's right. We just need to set the record straight. Literally. Yeah, green party would be fun, right? Because the thing about green is that it has a little of everything at common. So you can kind of take any color, pair it with green, and if you get the right density of creatures at common, end up with a solid 4-party plan. Hard not to take Charix, though. We'll see if anything can beat Charix. And what a fun card that is. Charix Control, let's do that. There's Relic Amulet. You could also take Relic Amulet, start there, just build around that. Might even be better than Charix. This is... Selendi Vision is good once you're in the heavy spells action, I think. But and it's good, again, these spell lands are so good. I do think Relic is probably the more impactful card, right? And the trouble, these are some rough signals, though. If we take this, we're sending Mystic, Charix, and Vision and that makes it, and we're sending it downstream, so we're still in command. But I'm going to take the amulet, and we'll see. Also, because there are weird, like we could end up in the much rumored green-blue wizards, right? We could end up with a bunch of the 3/2 wizards in that case, or something. But Royal Eruption, a fine follow to a relic amulet. Fine follow. And I like that there's not really any good blue here, which probably means, like, I mean, the rare is missing, right? So we don't know if the rare was blue. The squid is likely the only blue card in the pack. So hope maybe we can starve our neighbors downstream of blue a little bit and make the amulet pay off with Royal Eruption, but also want to be aware of not marrying anything here. We don't have to do the amulet just because we took it. It was just the right place to start. Well, Haj, I literally don't have a VOD mute to kill anymore, so I do get 5 minutes back every morning now. So that's one benefit there. So this is interesting. Like, Feed the Swarm is a strong pick here. Blood Priest jumps out too, but there's a Geyser Mage. It's a little weaker than Feed the Swarm, but it does match the 2-card start we have here. So, yeah, is it powerful? No, you agree though, right? Like, if this is pack one, pick one, I think I'm taking the Feed. We'd only be taking Geyser Mage here because of what we have so far. And it does cut blue, you're right. So we may be able to get people to our left off of blue if we keep taking it. So yeah, let's do it. Vine Gecko, still being here, is somewhat signally to me. There's a Reclaim that could even wheel, that could work with all this stuff. Diviner sticks with the amulet plan. Boy, this is a tough place because Vine Gecko is so good in the kicker deck, and you could absolutely splash the Royal Eruption in it, especially if you wheel the Reclaim. Diviner does send some blue downstream in a way that might hook people up in blue, but this is drafting the hard way, gang. This is the kind of signal we're talking about. This is an engine card. This drives decks. The kicker decks where I've had 2 geckos were bonkers. So I think you take it on hard way theory and see where it goes. And then we end up with the Royal Mage. So I'm really happy with this pick. And we get a Umara Wizard here. Chilling Trap is appealing for where we're headed, but and also the Riptide. Wow, good signs. Unfortunately, we might be setting some people up now to follow through in blue. So we sent enough blue in just pack one alone, in pick one alone, that it's possible this good blue trailing here might hook somebody up. But I think we take the Wizard, though. The Wizard goes in any deck and is a very powerful spell land. Any blue deck, I should say, and we're clearly blue. All right, here's where Diviner is pretty no-brainer. That lets us pivot. We can do the Wizard thing. We can still do the kicker thing. This is the most flexible pick. I don't mind these squids, but we're taking the Diviner. Pick 8 squid we're going to take here over nothing. Cut the blue. I mean, the Cliff Claven is okay if you're doing, like, Boros Warriors, but, like, not even close to that. So now we get the wheeling to begin, and we get to see. So the squid came back. Vision comes back. Let's see. What did we took? We knew. Unfortunately, the red-blue wizard is taken, but maybe the gecko path will still be where we end up. You want more squids? We could. I still think the vision is worth it, especially since we're not quite sure where we're landing yet. I'm happy to take the vision here. It's early, Jinx. And it's a land. Hold on that, Hat, because Hat was talking about, I've been very, anybody who's been around, I'm curious if people are playing the song or not. I don't know. It makes me sad not to DJ for you and force those notes into your ear bones. But if people are doing the self-play song of the day, that's cool. I'm doing that because the recording industry is threatening, and Twitch are threatening some potentially stream-ending crackdowns. I've been light on my touch on it, and when the consequences were different. Now that the consequences are possible loss of my whole stream, I'm being hyper-conservative, and that has meant that I've also... look at that, the reclaim came back. That has also meant that I've kind of stopped running the memes with, we can take negate given that it's best of 3. Yeah. And someone was talking about like a general, I think we're doing this, gang. Angel of Destiny was fun yesterday, but I don't think it's where we're at today. We're going to let somebody else have fun with that today. Unfortunately, where we're at here is kind of lousy. I mean, maybe we could take it for gems or collection building. We only have 3 of them. There is another diviner. It's just sad. This is a sad first pick. Let's be honest. This is a sad first pick. Yeah, the gem pick is real. If you are on, anybody who is even close to fighting for gems or collection building, yeah, we could even take, that's true. We should probably take it on power level. That's totally fair. I don't see us ending up white blue, but I think I've talked myself into letting go of one diviner, not just for gems. It is a good example of a place where it's perfectly fine to do the rare drafting thing, but also we're not committed to anything but blue, so we may as well take a powerful card like that and see what happens. Scythe Kitty, Crag Plate Baloth. Are we gonna, maybe we'll get some of the uncommon blue-green rampers, and we do have a Reclaim the Waste, so getting a 7 is not that hard. And the kicker with Gecko, yeah, I think we take it. I mean, there's again, it's over what, there's not even what is competing with it. Basically nothing. So not loving the packs here, but if we end up blue-green kicker, I'm not going to complain if we can get the goods. Spoils is potentially splashable in such a deck. There's another Vision, but I think we take a Riptide. Jinx likes the idea of spoil. We do have the reclaim. We could take the spoils. People like spoils. Yeah, Riptide came last. We can probably let that wheel again. I suppose we at least hedge here. I don't know if we want 2 visions anyway, and we'll probably wheel Riptide and Squid and yeah. Yeah, that's true. Well, I say why splash because I am definitely enamored with Reclaim, Gecko, and Baloth as a start on the green Jinx, but I'm not married yet, and you're right that we should take the spoils. But my mentality is still splash because of the power of the green kicking that we have, even though it's slight right now. But you're right. We could end up just abandoning the green and being a blue-white deck. And even leaning into the party stuff a bit. The reason this is in blue-white is that... blue tends to have wizards and rogues, and white tends to have clerics and warriors. So it's one of the color pairs that at common gives you heavy chances to hit 4 on the old party mechanic. Balagad Recovery, though, we could take a diviner since we know we are blue, but I think Recovery is good enough here. And yeah, it starts to head us towards maybe just Bant. Maybe we play it all. Swarm Shambler, pretty darn late for something that can get this out of hand. In a heavy green deck, Jinx, if the format is not oppressively fast, which I don't think this format is. It can be fast, but it's not like oppressively fast. If you've got 9 or 10 green sources, you can run this as a land. It's not ideal, but I think if you're doing the kicker thing, if you're playing 3 colors, it's a fine inclusion. It's not better than Rabbit Bite or anything like that, but this is a fine inclusion, I think. Not going to take this. We're going to take we take the Shell Shield. If we do get there's the Blight Blade or the Shell Shield, and, if we get a roost of drakes, we'll want a Shell Shield. But I suppose if we don't, I'll want a Blight Blade. We'll take that for now, see where we go here. Here's a Disruption to continue kind of straightforward Splan type picks. We're best of 3. We could Broken Wings for the board. This Moss Pit Skeleton in the Splash world is not unplayable, but it's not powerful enough to really consider here. That's why I brought... Crandoy says Tupperware's hot take is that the Reclaim is better. I mean, that's why I compared the two. Like, I'm trying to figure out, where I would have it in the scheme of things, and that's kind of where I was thinking. Soaring Thought Thief is kind of sad to see, because that's a deck maker right there. You get a couple of these, and you got a deck. Thief, though, I mean, we're not. What do you want to? What, you want to pivot to black? We're pivoting to black now. We're not going to take the Thief. Why not splash black? Because a 2-drop Rogues Matter card is not a thing to splash for. Yeah, this isn't a guaranteed play yet, but we got a whole pack to go. I think I take the Might over the Shield in terms of kicker spell to take. I think first Might, but then if this pick came up again, I would take Shield for the second. Here's a wizard we're going to try and not to play, but we'll see. Here's the Riptide we wanted back. We're not really doing it on any level with any of these synergies, though. We're not doing it on wizards. We're not doing it on kicker, but we could be close to, this might be a Snarecaster for the board isn't the worst, but we're blue. We should have our own flyers. So Snarecaster should be less important in a deck like this, and I don't want to play that. I guess we might be in a situation where we are if we're doing any kind of green party. Well, then we get this. And what is there to tempt us away? There's the Wizard Land. I mean, I think this just says we're doing the Bant thing, right? Another big wizard. You just like the Umara Wizard? Yeah, this also fixes. We could just take the Vastwood Surge. Interesting. People are all over on this one. Well, in a sense, I think I'm going to take the Surge. I'm going to take the Surge because that supports the kicker that I want to do, and we got a Ruin Crab. What do we do with that, though? Yeah, Surge lets us have some fun, too. So, yeah, Kitty is interesting here. Riptide likely to wheel again. We got a couple. Did we wheel that other one? Yeah, we got 2 Riptides. Rebuke any good here? Well, we do have the Royal Eruption. Maybe we end up splashing the red and not the. Yeah, that's fair. What about the Rebuke? And we look at the red. I'm gonna take the Rebuke. I don't think the crab does anything for us. Vine Gecko, hello, friend. The Vastwood Surge and the Reclaim the Wastes say that we can pretty easily play the red if we want. I wouldn't want to splash both. It is sad to pass into the Royal, but Vine Gecko makes it all work. I can't... When I'm in kicker, these are like up there with Roost. I mean, these are just, when you curve out on a turn 2 Gecko in a kicker deck, it's absurd. Riptide, I guess. Yeah, our kicker count is still pretty low for any, but it almost like, ooh. I saw the Falconer and got excited, but I think we got to take Familiar because it even helps us cast like Baloth and stuff. This pack is, yeah, this pack is. Yeah, I'm taking this not because we're cha-chinging on kicker payoffs. I'm taking this because it ramps. So like this is where I want to shell shield because we do need kicker triggers. Oh, Pathway. We can take Pathway. That's true. All right, I'll take the Pathway. You're right. It's blue-red. I really wanted the... Oh, look, there's the second Thief to make that painful. We have a Gnarlid Colony or a Field Research. Wow. Are we playing the spoils? I think we take the Colony. Oh, they're both great. People want the Research. People want the Colony. I think I want Colony. That was painful. Reclaim here over the millionth Riptide. It's a kicker spell. It helps with the splash. Maybe even allows a double. We can do 4C at this point. Diviner. More rips. The tide is high and I'm on the run. Is that what it is? I don't know. Something like that. More squid, calamari, more diviner. More diviner, yeah. Holding on. There you go. 5 rip and the shield comes back too. And a gem grind. Wow, this is a lot of options. Check this out. We only here's our sideboard. Our sideboard is 3 cards that we would not want to put in our main deck. The rest is all up to debate. Yeah, I think you're right. I think we do ditch the white and we do splash the removal and we focus on all the kicker. Let's pull our splans over and do that math. And I'll get out of your way. Any more splans? Yeah, we can probably, yeah, we got to let the amulet go too. We are focusing on kicker. Let me get separated here. Also, let's do the splan count. 17, wait, 7, 16, 17, 18. This is 19, but we have 2 Reclaim the Wastes, so we can definitely go to at least 18. And we don't need all these mountains, just need... There's enough Oppo milling us means that I'm nervous about only 1 mountain, although we do have the flip land. Oh, Disruptions plan. Thank you. I missed it. You're right. So that's good. Helps us trim a little more. Oh, and the wizard hopped up there too. So I missed that. 7, 8, 9, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So this is 20. I think I can go to one mountain on the strength of the pathway, but it's, you know, I don't love it. And then I like the pathway, the disruption, and vision. So we have 6, 7, 8, 9 blue currently. Thank you for those subs. Look at that, Tab Eater. Tab Eater making it rain. Thank you so much, Tab. You think the amulet is in because we get there on it? Fenrir doesn't even like the red splash. Maybe I'm being greedy there, but it feels so easy. Maybe at least the Royal Eruption. Well, it's not about just wizards, right? So if we look at what we've got here, we've got 7. You say we're far away from wizards. We haven't made cuts yet, but right now we're at 7, 6, 6, so 12. Right now there are 19 triggers for the amulet in the deck, but it's a 50-card deck. We got to make cuts. So it is about trying to figure out, well, we can cut the seer. Let's cut, I got to find some obvious, get rid of the obvious stuff. I mean, probably not running anti-cog in this deck. The wizard count at 7 says Chilling Trap is likely to be good. And Jinx wants to count Kicker. 1. Probably not running this. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So not too bad, really. 10 plus recovery to get a Kicker spell back. Plus potentially even Royal Mage to get a Kicker spell back. So... well, yeah. Yeah, five tides is too many. Let's go 3 there. Does 3 seem right? Don't really have any other 3 drops, so I kind of like 3. You want to go to 1 squid, leaving us with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 early plays that are creatures, plus various early plays we might run in Reclaim and Royal. So, Fenor is strongly in support of cutting the splash. I'm curious where people are at. I'm going to take a quick poll on the red. So, we're going to do a 45-second poll: splash or no. So if you want to just cut the splash entirely, say no. If you want the red splash, say splash. It's also possible if you want the red splash, but we cut the rebuke. But the reclaim, two reclaim and a Vastwood plus a flip land comes close to making it free in my mind, which is why I want to do it. Yeah, we could cut the Death Toucher. It's not doing much, right? That's our creature count now, 16 still. Oh, it's never free, Fenor, but it's and it's fair to call out the hyperbole, but you got to admit this is in terms of a source count. Like heck, we can even Balaged Recovery a mountain if it gets milled. You know, I mean there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sources for a splash, and I love that the Royal Eruption has Kicker since we're trying to do that too. Yeah, I think we can cut blue sources a bit in favor of green to make the reclaims, because we even have we have more than, because if you have enough green sources, you can count reclaim as blue sources. So what? Are there 2 of these? What are you talking about? Oh, yeah. No, we only have... Sorry, you're saying you can't see it. We only have 1. You think the Shambler's too slow? The thing is, yeah, this is a, I don't know. What's more... What would you rather have on turn 1, not knowing anything else about your deck? A Ruin Crab or a Swarm Shambler? I don't know. Yeah, I don't think I can cut this. I hear you that it's clunky, and it's especially a lousy top deck, right? You pull this in turn 12, you're not super happy. But let's see, where are we at? We may be able to cut. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 7 is 18. Plus these. I think I'm where I'm at. I want to be on land, except maybe down an island and up a forest. Maybe even up 2 forests and 2 islands, because we still have... this would give us 1, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 straight up lands we can play for blue. And then 2 Reclaim the Wastes to basically be 9, 10 on islands. Why, Jinx? Just because you don't want to have to play these as lands? Yeah, we might bring the rogue back. I'm just trying to look at my land situation. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, right? Did I get that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. This is 19 plus Reclaim the Waste, which again, if you have enough green, is basically like 21. It's just clunky. It's just pay. It's effectively like an ETB tapped land because you had to pay green to go get it. Yeah, I think we can cut 1 land more, but it's tough to cut a forest because I really want, because this gives us 10. Balaged Recovery plus forest is 10 sources of green in an emergency, in a pinch, and I really don't want to dip below that. And then, so we're talking at that point about dipping to 3 islands if we want to cut more lands. So I think we just end up being a bit land heavy and try to use our spells more. Try to cast this as a wizard. Then we're looking at 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, only 15 cards that are only lands, right? You think we can afford to cut a forest? Yeah, maybe we can. It's just that, boy, that's the worst of it. Although, I mean, if you get stuck with only blue sources early, this deck could be in trouble. Yeah, I feel like 10 is where I want to be. No, we have we have 4 splans. You're right. This is a land, not a spland. I've been counting this as land only though, Jinx. When I called out the 15, right? 9, 10, 14, 15. That's what I was saying. We have 15 land only cards. I think I want the Shell Shield in. Not only does it put counters on geckos, it protects everything for 1 blue mana because we get the kicker. With a gecko in play, we get the kicker for free. And I really want to be able to turn these Riptides sideways reliably. So I'm not cutting any. I'm literally not cutting anything with kicker. I'm not. We can cut a Thundering Rebuke and just focus on the splash that has kicker. We could cut Trap. Yeah, I was looking at Trap as the odd spell out. Yeah, you could drop down to 2 Diviners. 2, that's true. Well, I'm keeping... yeah, you want the Rebuke back in for a Diviner. We could do that. Losing a Diviner isn't the worst since we are dropping down on... since we dropped the Chilling Trap. That we also could cut a Riptide and put the Diviner back. You know, this is like this reliably attacks for an evasive 3, and we could just reduce this to that roll. But I think we're gonna be ripping enough. All right, so what do you? I'm kind of with you, Fenor. I don't like cutting this. I think it's a very good card. What do you like at this point? You want to? I'm not, but I won't cut anything with Kicker. I'm not also because like again this like I think these geckos and our individually good creatures are going to be so important that I really want to protect them. So I'm not cutting any Kicker. So we could cut another squid. We could say this isn't really a squid deck. We don't care about squids. That we're going to be doing this stuff in the early turns. I don't want to cut the Shambler. I'd rather have a Shambler than a squid. So then I'm looking at this then. If we don't want to lose our Diviners, I would rather just drop the squid. So let's try this. Let's get playing, shall we? And let's see. We're splashing. It's Kicker, but what do we maybe got to do the Riptide joke with 5 Riptides. High five. High tide. High five. High five. I'm going to go with high five because we had 5 high tide cards. Any bling redemptions, or am I just going to run with this? We've got an Overdue Greed. Sorry, I'll get to that. And Baloth on the deck box. You got it. Link is locked in his off-screen role. No worries, Wang. No Link for you today. And then I gotta go hop here for a little profit. Mama wants some sword sleeves. I'm all over it, gang. Look at me knocking it out left and right. Is Alucardio here? Heck, we could... I've been waiting for Alucardio to come back and join us so I can polish off the Listen Up redemption waiting for me. Here's my 2-word review of Alucardio's song is Metallica Unplugged. I liked it, but where is he? Here, this is I'll copy and paste. There's a you can actually just look at the whole playlist, but this is the song. It's not exactly that. I'm just saying if I had to do elevator pitch it to try and intrigue you. There's some great shredding, though. Great shredding. You still like the amulet? Oh, good point. I thought I wanted to be done here, but the amulet is like... Let's see what the amulet does in this build, right? If we just threw it in there. We get 6 wizards, 4 instants. So 16 triggers for the amulet. That is not bad. All right, fine. We'll do it this way, okay? Okay? Jeez. Right, okay. 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 Shamulet. Jinx, in this deck, if you said, here's the honest assessment, Jinx, that got me to do this, got me to make this swap that has you so shocked. Let's go back and look again. We've got, for instance, 6 sorceries, 6 wizards. We're talking 16 triggers for the amulet. 16 triggers is a lot of triggers for the amulet. Given 16 triggers, would I rather have a relic amulet in my opener or a shambler in the opener? And I said, yeah, I'd rather have relic amulet when I realized that, when I had 16 triggers. Well, now I kind of want to get a cut, you know, I don't know, cut a diviner and get the chilling trap back in, or cut, do we have anything that's, we've already cut our use, we could cut the rebuke for like a chilling trap. No, we're all just in the neighborhood now of, of course we're going to predict results. But I think that you know, maybe the answer is both. I mean, we could also say we could go to 15 triggers for the amulet, cut the diviner, and put the shambler back in. But I also feel like I'm now taking too long with this, so we should just yeah, we're moving exactly, old fat, right? Let's play, and we can reassess later. And what you said, dealer's choice on lands. I'm gonna leave them. I'm gonna say my dealer's choice is leaving them as is, so we can play. Although I gotta tell you, I think I gotta switch my default basic. I don't know if you can switch your default basics. You might maybe after we play I'll be convinced. Let's keep what everybody, all the detractors can keep an eye on stuff. And we only have 3 matches with the deck. So let's play a match and then we'll come back and we'll reassess. Well, are you keeping this? It's a lot of land for us, but it does mean we just get to use all of our spell lands as spells. So, yeah, I guess we keep, because we're likely to draw sources of land that are spells that we can cast. So I'm going to keep. They're awesome in hand, and then they are terrible on the battlefield, I've found. Well, these are okay because they seem nice and bright. They communicate. Oh, what a draw. It's just they kind of lose. This old school frame is so much worse for communicating color than the new school frames. I think it's a real problem. I think visual language matters. This kind of thing is why I don't love altars. You know, extended art altars that take away the frame. The visual elements of the frame does real work for Magic. Ideally, the gecko lives for a few turns here. We drop a Riptide, find something to... Maybe I just have to vision and then kick it back. But, you know, Riptide on 3, vision for something on 4, kick Royal Mage on 5 on the discount from the gecko is a fine sequence if the gecko can live. Well, it lives, but we are going to reset our plan. I guess we don't need to show him the splash yet. No reason to do that. Also, potentially no reason to replay the gecko now without kicker. I kind of like Riptide here. And then we could go Diviner after that. Like, there's just no reason. We have nothing to kick, right? So we can go Riptide into Diviner, and then on 5 mana, go Gecko Vision. Yeah, we could also 2-drop into a double spell. That's a good call. We didn't, but I like the diviner play here fine. Royal Chaser that could make Counterspell discounted. Anti-Cog would just get it done anyway. More roiling? Ah, Vision. Vision into more roiling, sure. Well, we're going to grind away at each other here and see who wins the attrition battle. Roiling my stuff. I'm trying to vision, get stuff back. We just both have a lot of value engines going on. A lot of open mana, but it looks like it's for the end of the royal. I'm going to send the diviner and see. Shouldn't have played the land. No need to do that yet. I don't know, like we could draw something, or I guess there's no really way to draw a card here, so it was fine. I just didn't think about it is the point. As usual, like it's not about whether it was a mistake, it's that I keep doing things without thinking. And that's the tough part of getting good at Magic, is that you need to do a bunch of stuff that is instinctive. You need to follow your own heuristics, but then your heuristics are what trip you up at the wrong time, right? But those autopilot heuristics are what allow you to play at a high level otherwise, because you can focus on the things that matter. So it's tough. Yeah, don't want to bother with that right now. It would be funny. We could hit for 10 in one swing if we wanted, but I'm going to say no attacks, and we're going to drop a Vine Gecko and look to Vision at the end of their turn. Yeah, I don't really want to put counters on stuff till at least we get this into the royal out of the way. While we're waiting for Oppo to decide, I'll give a little mid-match reminder to give my video a like if you're hanging out on YouTube and want to affect the algorithm on my behalf, and to check out my sponsor, Card Kingdom. They are great. They ship to you faster than my opponent takes their turn. Or something. Maybe not, but, you know. All right, well, they're leaving everything open. Maybe they got a counter for this, but we'll find out. Certainly happy to fire this off. Jinx, you remember when we took this, you were worried because we only had one target? And now, like, it's not guaranteed, but we got a pretty good chunk of targets, right? Let's go like this. Okay, stop, Ryan. Will you think? Just think for a darn second. What? Vastwood Surge. We're looking to kick this, right? We really want to get the counters off of this. So, we're not going to do that just for that now. We're just going to go Familiar, right? Expecting another royal of something here. Yes. That is, Hat is bringing up the fact that I'm playing in the Lola Man Streamer Showdown tournament on Thursday. It's a 2-pod, 16 streamer tournament. I'm in the second pod Thursday. The first pod is either happened or happening today. Okay, they're going with that, which means we get to save with a might. Unfortunately, we don't get to get the kicker bonus, but it's worth it to save our familiar. Right, we don't get it yet? Yeah. I can? How do I kick? It's 5 to kick. I counted 1 from the gecko and 1 from the forest. I didn't think we had... This was summoning sick. Yeah, that's true. They could have roiled. Maybe they... I don't know. Ugh. It's going to be a tough match. Solid deck from Oppo. Not just solid. Looks very good. I don't love the supplies, but it just because it doesn't really seem like it fits into anything it's doing. Yeah, obviously, a deck like this is would much rather have basic blue card drawing than spare supplies. Well, you call our deck a pile, Jinx? I'm getting destroyed by a splashed Mind Drain. Oh, well. Can't even... Well, we can kick this. To what end, though? I don't know. We can attack in for some damage. Yeah, this Oppo is all in on spells, right? We're going to bring in that negate for sure. Yeah, recasting the wizard is good. It gets in for a chunk of damage. I'm just considering doing this and then doing that, but we might lose the diviner if we do it that way. So yeah, I like this. Oh, I don't even get to attack with the familiar, unfortunately. I still think this is fine. One of our tough picks in the draft was Gnarlid Colony versus the Kicker Divination. Right now, I wish we had Kicker Divination lurking in the deck somewhere, but I wouldn't hate the Colony draw either. Couple of Diviners. Can't quite cast both, unfortunately, but we can cast the one. Obviously, the Geyser Mage trading for anything there would be delightful. I'm going to play the Diviner. They know about it anyway. I don't know. Congrats, Chimero. Glad to hear it. Security is a good thing, huh? Scrying to the top says we're probably not winning game 1 here, but we are best of 3. We'll have our chance. Thank you so much for the sub. I guess if they double blocked the familiar, they would kill it. Do you think they have the guts to block it? They don't know what our card is. I'm not going to risk the bluff because they could. I guess it would kill the. Maybe it's pretty free. Now I've blown it anyway. Now I've blown my cover. I'm just going to attack. The cha-cha was too giveaway there, and I might want to be back blocking the sword. Although I don't. Like if I block the sorcerer, they just totally kill. So yeah, if they hit Geyser Mage, we know they've got another wizard or spell here. Yeah, tanked away my bluff. Classic. Still get to send in the Geyser Mage, though, and then see about landing a Diviner. Doing pretty good, Nantuko, all things considered. How are you? Hey, that's really nice. We can send in both. We don't need to play my other Diviner now, but we can send in both our 3-power creatures. Maybe Oppo's sandbagging a bunch of lands. They could always have just a bunch of lands. Oh yeah, I should send the Riptide too on the Strength of the Shield. Good call, good call. If they double block it or try to kill it, then I'm happy to use the shield to fire it off. I don't know what's going on here, but remember Oppo went top, so I'm not inclined to fire off the Shell Shield to try and trigger the Riptide. We're just going to accept this damage. Anti-Cog again. Wow, they're going for the Geyser Mage on the ping, suggesting they have another ping, but we could use the Shell Shield to save in that case if we want. But also, if they're going for the ping, why would they go there? Maybe they don't want to give me a card off the Diviner, I suppose. The scries on these anti-cogs are really brutal right now. Really giving Oppo some quality advantage. Yeah, maybe they don't know they can target players. I don't know. That's what's going on. So I say if we save, here's the thing, if we save the Geyser Mage, we draw a card off the Diviner. If we save the Diviner, we have a flyer. Like that's really the trade-off here. I think Jinx is right that we should keep the flyer. Really? Why you don't think the flyer is more important? But what are we going to draw better than a flyer in this situation? I'm gonna do it. I feel like they effectively have two like, well, they're running out of cards at least. That's actually, this is encouraging. If this Geyser Mage was what they topped, and this happens to be finally just some kind of a blank in their hand, maybe we are advantaged. 2144 to 2009 on the clocks. Hey, an opponent who's slower than me, everybody. Slower than me. Ouch. This is probably going to kill our diviner here. Man, rough. And look, it was a blank, but they had the voice on top. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Well, maybe they went land, land. That's possible. It can happen. Only one land in the yard. A couple of splans. 2, 3, 4, 5. Only 5, 6. Oh, yes. 5 basics. Hey, it didn't trigger. It did not trigger the sorcerer. That's the main thing here. I have never wanted to top deck Royal Eruption more in my life. So 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We are not dead. If we just take this and risk it, we give ourselves... Any kicker spell gives us a crackback win. If we could also block with Riptide under presumption that it lives. Well, is it free? I mean, there is a black source, so like there is the Rebirth, but Rebirth would just give us the game, right? I'm just trying to play around anything that might. You want to do the block? Well, okay, I'm just making sure that there's nothing in black that punishes us here. Is there anything in black that punishes us? I don't think there is. Yeah, Rebirth. Yeah, Rebirth does do that. That's true. And now we're in a spot. Well. Oh, it has haste. So there you go. It just has haste. We don't even need to kick it, right? Wow, I did not expect to take that one. Good job, chat. Thanks for the help. We got there. When that discard spell wiped our hand of excellent, 2 excellent spells, I didn't know how we were going to get there, but we found it. Nice. Yeah, I don't know what that attack was or what they why they would expose themselves, but Nut Collector kind of gave us a window, right? And we're looking at heavy spells. Heavy spells. Like, this is just a spells deck, right? So we're definitely bringing in Negate. And what are we cutting? Could cut the shield, although the shield, again, against this heavy spells, it's pretty good. Maybe Might is less useful against the targeted removal. We could cut... Yeah, anti-cog for, I guess we, anti-cog doesn't seem like any better here. In fact, it seems worse because this is creatures only and we're noting that they're very heavily spelled. I'm just trying to figure out what we're cutting for this negate. Maybe we did get enough land. Maybe we could do this. The trouble here, of course, is that it just puts us on 9 sources of green to get the reclaims going. But it did feel like we were pretty mana intensive. I think I'm going to be a little greed here, especially since we're going to be on the draw and do it this way. They were making me have the win, but they didn't have to do that, is the thing, is how I look at that. Anyway, we're going to keep this. Good start. Like, they made me have the win, but they could have stayed back and made me not made it not even possible that I have the win. No, I'm going to keep I'm going to be, if there's anything Marshall taught me yesterday, is that I am not greedy. He is greedy. He's like, he's got 2 lands in hand and 3 splans, and he's not playing a splan. You know, he's playing the land. So, but we have Gecko into Reclaim on 3, so there's no need to use our spell lands as lands when we're about to kick a Reclaim on 3. No, I'm not looking back. We're going Gecko and saying, stop us. Ooh, although now, new plan, new plan, new plan, new plan. Love it, True. And if Oppo is spending their turn on spare supplies, turn 2 and 3 on spare supplies, or turn 3 and 4 apparently, then that's got to be great for us. I'd like to thank the Academy and all of my friends and family. It's victory speech time, although now I'm getting cocky. I shouldn't do that, but geez, Double Gecko is bonkers here. Jinx says, don't play land after. I do want to have counters, but I'm also very terrible at pausing that part of my heuristics, as we've already talked about today, even. They could counter here, but I don't even mind a counter here. I'd be sad about not getting our red for the Royal Eruption, but we still get the counters on the Gecko even if they counter the spell, and we have a Familiar ready to pay 1, so they can't, like, disrupt us. Yeah! Well, they Anti-Cog would have gotten it, right? Disruption we were playing around, but Anti-Cog would have gotten us, right? That was beautiful. Yeah, that's right. Anti-Cog can't even counter that anyway, right? So we were playing around the one spell that we could play around. Negate, but we couldn't play around that, right? Negate, they have. All right, well, don't know why you hate this deck, Jinx. Call it a pile. Hurts my poor deck's feelings. Not mine, though. I think this deck is pretty good. What did we learn? Do we learn anything that we want to make changes for? Has no path. What are you talking about? Yeah, silly. Has Gecko into madness. Yes. You say, Jinx, you have to defend that with math. You saying we're toes dipped in Wizards, but we have 6. And, you know, anyway, I'm not going to defend it to Jinx anymore. You're just not looking at the numbers, Jinx. It's fine. I'm wondering if we learned anything to make changes, though. I don't think I'm into any changes. The Shambler was one of our last cuts. I guess we could do, like, Shambler Forest. That would be the greed play. If we're fine with 9 green sources. Because this is, I mean, we have a lot of lands here with the spell lands, because we have 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and then 2 reclaims. Again, Jinx, you're saying the word small, We have 10 kicker spells. That's not small. We have 16 amulet triggers. That's not small. So stop saying that unless you're like, or if you think that's small, tell me what normal is. I think, Jinx, you're just trying to see it your way without looking at the actual numbers. And you're not defending anything based on the actual numbers. But I will be a little bit greedy on the forest there and see if it works out. Let's go. I appreciate Jinx. He does have some hot takes, but he challenges my ability to defend my own positions. And I appreciate that a lot. And somewhat punished, but we do have the Reclaim and the Forest. Is this keepable on the Reclaim and the Forest, though? The trouble is, so we get our 2 lands, and we get our island, and we happen to find a 3rd, and we play our Riptide or whatever, but then the rest of the hand isn't great, and we're not playing the Rebuke at that point. So I think we have to mulligan, even though we have technically a 2-lander here. It just is a 2-lander that doesn't do enough. And here we can keep, and it looks much better. Much better. I think we let go the Rebuke. We can't cast it right now anyway. And then we have a decent Shambler into Gecko into tap land, make counter on Shambler. Maybe we find lands in the meantime that mean we don't have to play the Vision as land. Pathway, I'm going to play another Forest out and the Gecko and give us one more turn to figure out what we're doing before we commit to a side on this thing. All right, more forests make me think. Too bad this wasn't an island. If this was an island, that'd have been perfect because we could have this is red, this is blue, and then keep the vision to actually cast. As it is, I think. Yeah, we can play Pathways and Island if we want to get the Riptide going, but there's a fine argument for just shambling here and playing the Vision as Island, and then having this as a red source ready. On the other hand, getting... Yeah, that's fair. And then I would love to cast this as a spell, right? And we might be able to do that. So I'm going to go Pathway. We did get another turn, though. I'm going to get another turn. The Riptide's not doing much. So I don't see why we shouldn't just take a turn and go Shambler and then see if we find something off the top of our library that affects what we do with these two cards. It's going to access a question. I mean, we can just block and shamble. See, Shambler's fine. It's not great, but if you get it early, it's quite a house. It can do stuff. It's just such a lousy top deck. All right, so now we're in Pathway on blue, and probably Vision. I mean, we could Riptide, but we're already threatening the block here. But Riptide, I'll Riptide. We'll Vision later. Let's Riptide. Riptide, Shambler, and then Vision. I like building our board out rather than digging. We don't need to dig yet. Yeah, we could swing Gecko. I was thinking about that, Jinx. I should have talked about it. Like, they're going to value a Relic Axed Pack Beast pretty highly and might not trade off. But I'm a little too gun shy. I think it's Gecko is just so important. I didn't want to risk it. Might is interesting here because we do get the kicker discount on the Gecko, so we can send all and have Might available if we want it, and have Risen Riptide backup plan if we don't. Question is, well, yeah, the Shambler trades for either, so we send in everything, and if we have to, we let Shambler trade for something and Might the thing we want to save. So I like send all. And if they don't block, I probably just let them take 5 and we play the Riptide and pass. Oh, I do because of the Gecko discount. Oh, interesting. Okay, so now if we get 8-8, they're going with that because it makes a 2 for 2 out of it, which is fine, though. We'll take that. We could also just let this trade happen. Take out the... well, is it a blowout? I mean, it's not a blowout because we can't save it. It is a trade. But we could, yeah, because we could also just hit for 13 if we wanted to make this a 10-10 and hit for 3 here. But yeah, 2 for 2. It's not a blowout, but let's go for the 2 for 2. 2 for 2 with a ton of damage. You just like kill the rider, hit for 13. Yeah, that's true. We can also just take 2 and play the Riptide and go again next turn. Yeah, let's just do that. I'm in for that. I mean, we're attacking for 18 unblocked here. And this blade might make him want to get aggro. Try to turn this into a race. No, they're not going to race. But we do, with a kick, might survive on all blocks. So we're going to attack and kick the might and eat the pack beast. You think they have a trick? Well, what would be the trick in white? There is it can deal 2 damage. It can get +2/+2 and could deal 1, right? I mean, the 1, 2 are pro, but none of that blows us out, right? Yeah, we could pump unblocked too and do the 13 thing and still get the trade. And if we are worried about shelter, that would definitely be the play. If we want to play around shelter, we should take the Jinx line of pumping something not blocked. Yeah. So let's good call. Let's play around shelter, and we either get a trade off the Riptide or not, or we trade for whatever they're holding in hand, right? Right. If they have shelter, they just go pro blue. And yeah. Anyway, we'll go with I guess you go Riptide with a higher toughness. Not slower than this opponent, or this opponent is not slower than me. All right, but we get a diviner to continue the beats, we hope, and vision to look for something kickable, maybe, for the Riptide. Restarting CBL. Oh, come on. Don't do this to me. Oh, hello, Amulet. Let's go Amulet Vision. Nothing to do on the Riptide this turn, though. Even if we vision ourselves into Kicker, it's not like we can use it. Oh, man. Sorry, I'm doing work to get the CBL back up. 3, 4, 3. There's a big, like, some sort of big OS update or something that reset a bunch of my stuff, but we should have close to CBL back. All right, that should be CBL back online for y'all. And yeah, I suppose they might do something differently because of Amulet, but honestly, I bet it's more likely that they make an incorrect sideboarding choice because of seeing one Amulet than making any correct choices. Like, we don't have any other enchantments or artifacts, right? So it's like the only target for hate. I say bring it. Though now I got to plug back in. We are red, white. We're Boros aggro warriors. So what's going to be? Maybe we need more Riptides over. Like maybe Baloth is not. I think it's got kicker, but maybe we need to be more Blightblade than Baloth in a matchup like this. We need to have defensive speed, and Blightblade provides that in a way that that the big boy does not. Yeah, we could add another Riptide, potentially over a Diviner, or maybe Amulet is too slow in that, like, because Amulet can be clunky against aggro. So maybe we cut Amulet here and bring in a Riptide. That allows us to keep up the all of the kicker stuff. Yeah, Squid is. Maybe we should bring in Squids. I ran out of time. I was trying to mess with the Cardboard Live thing. If this goes to 3, let's think about Squid. Well, I think I don't know if any of these represent. Like, what do we keep instead of? Anyway, we gotta send this back. I don't have what we need to keep. Easy mulligan. This is an easy keep though. And I like putting the mountain right at the bottom, waiting for us to reclaim at another time, and then we can go Gnarlid into Riptide. Or we could just ditch the reclaim and we have our spells, and And I'm not actually getting any kicker rewards here, so maybe keeping this lets us get 2 lands later, so it's like getting some of that value back, which is what I was thinking. And it does trigger the Riptide. I don't know. Yeah, maybe we can bottom Might instead. Or we, again, get super greed and say if we get even just 2 lands in our next 4 draws, we're going to be fine. I think I am, because we have the Desperation Reclaim. Like, in our dream scenario, we find a couple of lands and we go Colony into Riptide into Reclaim with Might available. But if we have to, we can use Reclaim on 1 if our plan to draw some lands does not work out. So I like that we have a fallback plan on this risk. And like, I'm willing to risk it even to turn 3 here. We're gonna try and find a basic or a Spland for Riptide naturally without having to use the Reclaim. Let's see what they go. Sometimes it can be an equipment play that might make a block bad here, but I'm willing to put a Gnarlid Colony in front of a Bug Catcher for sure. That's trouble, ladies and gentlemen. Right here in our city. So... anything we can do about this? I guess we Riptide. We could still end up... we're going to go pretty low here, but we could still be okay. We can attack. Seems like Marshall and Luis have not really experienced this deck working. I have experienced it working plenty. I've not made it work myself, but I've run into this type of deck and been, yeah... the Blade Master thing is real. And it's a real problem here, of course, because I'm gonna do a mostly dead.
Your friend here is only mostly dead.
Our only real hope here is that we play Diviner, accept another big smack from the Bug Catcher, and then untap with Might Diviner, able to block and kill the Bug Catcher. That's all we got. Does that just mean we're dead? Now, so that, yeah, we are moving on. But you can see why I felt like we needed defensive speed, right? So we're dead if we don't block, and now we need to draw removal. If we draw one of our... if we draw the Royal Eruption, we can survive. But maybe they just move the equipment and we're still dead. The point is, if we can find removal for the Bug Catcher. We might still be dead. I'm just saying we have outs to the Bug Catcher. That is not one of our outs to the Bug Catcher, though. All right, Oppo. Boros, equipment, Blade Master got us. Can we do anything about that equipment? We didn't get any of the naturalized style effects. We do, I think, need to bring it down curve-wise. Oops, a little more. Not with another Riptide, though, with Squid. I think we do bring in Squid. Negate on the equipment, because we want to stop the equipment. Yeah, I think we want anti-cog before negate. I agree with that. Maybe we do actually come down on Riptides back to 3. I'm wondering if there's room for another squid. We could cut the splash on that, but removal was the thing that could have helped us there. Yeah, we could do this for this. Not thrilled to cut kicker, but we need to get low down. Yeah, chilling trap over a... What about over a Shambler? Shambler was doing some defense, but I think it's even a little too clunky for how aggro they're going. I think this gives us a lot of chances here. Possibly squid is another consideration again, but let's try this. Oppo's got scary aggro, but we've got the play this time. That should help. Let's hope for a good opener. Yeah, that qualifies. I'm going to hold on to the Reclaim here and hope to kick it on turn 3 with the Gecko, or a Riptide into kick it on turn 4 with the Chilling Trap. That's even better. Hopefully Oppo is in the tank with a bad opener and they decide to take a risky keep and it goes terribly for them. Well, maybe. Anti-cog. Wow, I think we do that over the Gecko? Is that possible? Maybe it's not. Maybe we need to get the Gecko going and we save the anti-cog for a couple of spells down the road. We'll get something with this early. We don't need to do it on 2. I'm going to go with a Gecko. It is not any kind of blowout, but I am going to offer the Gecko because I would Chilling Trap just to 1 for 1 for 1 mana and then happily hold up anti-cog for their next turn. So let's offer the Gecko, and then if they block, we trap, and if they don't block, we tide. Here comes the equip. No! Oh, good, good, good. We don't have a second green yet for the Might. We could kick the Waste to get a second green, but I would actually rather have the Chilling Trap. We are going to kick something here, though. Let's kick the Wastes and get green and red, but play the island for the trap. Can I kick it? Kick it! So we don't get the wizard draw, but we're gonna... let's see, how do you want to do this? We can get them either way. They might have something else here. Did they show anything for white before? Can't remember. Should work either way, right? Should be just a 1 for 2 either way here. Yeah, I get, but the trouble is if we let this die, if we pass here, then the Vine Gecko is dead. So we can't just pass here or we lose the Vine Gecko. So we got to do this now, and I'm going to just choose the... I'm going to choose the Pack Beast. I don't think it matters, but I'm going to choose Pack Beast. Well, they've got a pause of... Oh, they got mana filtering, so this pause could just be the pack beast's ability to filter mana. Not my favorite result, but we are not doomed. Hey, look, a replacement friend. Still can't play Gecko and kick the Might, but we can play the Gecko and hold up Anti-Cog. And then have Might for the follow. And we have an unkicked Might, too, if we decide to use that. That's fair. We could have accepted a 2-for-1 on the Vine Gecko that we adjust if they do something. Could... All right, well, that's good. All things considered, I can handle that. I'm nervous about 3 cards and 5 open mana. I'm not sure how aggressive to be here. I guess we don't need the second green. I'll play the mountain they know about anyway. I think I like patience here. We're not going to get him dead anytime soon. Like, getting in, forcing some big battle here over this current crop of creatures doesn't seem correct over holding the anti-cog. They're far off from... I hope we get something with this. Now I'm worried we don't get anything with the anti-cog, which is too bad. But it is for 2, so, you know, we even get a 4-drop if they try it. But I think we do say no attacks, and we show some patience here, see if we can find a longer game strategy, like finding one of our wizard flyers. That's certainly worth miting, and we don't need to kick it. Although kicking it does... leave up anti-cog still and gives the Gecko a counter, so we'll kick it. Oh, no, yeah, it does, right? Yeah, it does. So we can't stop that one, but if they don't go for a 2-creature turn here, hopefully we can stop a second one. Interesting. Obviously suggests more... I mean, they're not sending a pack beast into a Gecko that they couldn't then kill with. I'm inclined to just take this salvo and... see where we end up, or maybe block Riptide on Pack Beast, and if they want to use a one, I think if we put Riptide on Pack Beast, it's not going to be some easy blowout. They would maybe 1-for-1. Yeah, it could be a Resolute Strike, which even survive, right? Will Pack Beast, Catcher, yeah, these are all warrior, so it would just do 4, and it would kill it. Yeah, we saw the Resolute Strike is the thing. Jinx is right. I mean, we've seen the Resolute Strike, or Practice Tactics was what I was thinking of. Sorry, you're saying Resolute Strike. I was saying we've seen Tactics. It's probably another Tactics. Was what I was thinking. I'm going to say no blocks. We've got enough of a cushion here. There we go, and now we have a great reason to block this time. Huh, how do we win, though? This is awkward. Oh, did we see the +3/+2? Wait, what's +3/+2? I don't even know what that means, Avatar. What are we talking about, +3/+2? What does that? I don't even know what spell we're talking about. Anyway, I think I stay patient, but I don't love this. Oh, that one. Thank you, yeah. It's just I slipped what we're talking about. Rage, got it. No attacks, and Shell Shield gives us +3 against the +3 of that. So Shell Shield is an answer to Rage. And now we have a kicker spell that can at least turn the Riptide into a threat as well. So I like Gecko on Bug Catcher, Riptide on Scorch Rider, and see, and basically wherever they rage, we can Shell Shield effectively. Allied Assault. Well, that's a little tougher, but they still only get 2 there, so the Riptide still will trade. I think this is still fine. Yeah, actually, well, what do we want to have trade? Actually, let's figure this out. What are we saving here? What do you want to save? The Gecko or the Riptide? I guess we save the Gecko, right? So we should save the Gecko. And that will do it, right? That's ultimately a great result for us. And a recovery, a fine draw as well. What do we want for that? We could get another Vine Gecko. We could just get the Might. You want to get back the Tide to block? Haj wants to get back Gecko. If we get back Gecko, it doesn't block very well. I think that's what people are saying. I want to attack with the Gecko for sure, though. Yeah, Reclaim is interesting. I'm going to attack with Gecko. Playing lands, recovery, something. And I guess Riptide does block better right now. Haj wants the Gecko because, like, if we had a kicker spell in hand, I would be with the Gecko plan, but we don't. So I'm gonna take Riptide. Might's interesting too, but if this is blank, this sets us up really well. So. Yeah, anti-cog would have been good there, too. You're not wrong. That's Vision, though. That's a pretty decent draw. And we don't have any double green, right? I think we do it this way. Disruption. Well, they know about it, but we got kind of a double counter situation. Now I think we got to stay back, though. That would have won the game there? What do you mean? It wouldn't have won the game? Yeah, also, sorry. I thought you mean if we get it back. I thought, because it's in the yard. I thought you were saying if we got it back with the Bala Ged, it would have won us the game. But I think we have to say no attacks now. Be back on our heels. So. We are so close. They have exactly the 3 mana to get around both the disruption and the anti-cog. And they only have 6 in the yard. Okay, well, we can stop that at least. Not what we wanted to see. We're now trying to top deck for our lives in game 3 of this match. Or Oppo could top deck for their life. Disrupt. We still might actually get something with a disruption, so I didn't like... I mean, if they have a 5-drop right here, we shouldn't mess around with a disruption joke. I don't know. They got us. Super disappointing. But yeah, sometimes you get top decked. We played our spells, made our mulligans, did the best we could. Did it matter, Haj? How did that matter? Did you think we had a line to be competitive, given how it drew from there? This looks good. Okay, I just might make sure, because if there was some line I missed, I'm curious to hear it. Surge is cool. Hopefully we keep a gecko around long enough to do that nonsense. Boy, we're facing some good decks here. Well, at least I say good. We're facing a good card here. This Cleric is scary. Cleric is scary. Maybe they're afraid of our gecko enough to block it. Should we try? They don't. We might have... They might not even attack into the Swarm Shambler because of what that represents. Let's just play Forest here. We don't need to show the splash yet. Although, if we get hit with discard, I probably want to ditch a Forest. So I'm going to go ahead and play this as a mountain, actually. And we can still do Activate Shambler and kick the Shell Shield with these lands. They have a pretty safe attack, but maybe they'll be afraid given that we could show a pump spell. Yeah, so we can make a 2 whatever, but it's not enough to kill it, so we're just going to accept this damage. Hold up shield and Shambler with I think I send, well, we probably just could send and they don't block and we Diviner and Shambler are an interesting double threat. We can certainly send Gecko. It's just if they block, we're locked into the Shell Shield. But I don't think they'll block. If they do, we'll take it. Take that Shell Shield for healer. Need 7 lands to kick this. We got Gecko to be the 8th source of the kick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're still looking for 2 lands before we could kick the Surge. There's no reason to play it without kicking at this point, though. But the deck thinning is not worth it. All right, another big smack, it looks like. Where are they going to put it? They can't. If they put it on the Cleric, I'm double blocking. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, and they're sending Cleric of Lifespawn? That can't be. What are you doing? That's insane. You pull that Cleric of Lifespawn. What? Has there ever been a more obvious... they have to have the Raise Dead effect, right? Why would they make this offer? Yeah, it's got to be Beckoning Hajj, but I think we still have to take it, right? But I mean, you only need to gain life. They get life off the healer. So I think, yeah, I still think we have to do it. At least it resets the counter and whatnot. There's a land heading us toward the Surging. I'm not going to send anything now, though. We have Shambler activation. And if we can just stay alive for the next couple of turns, maybe find a creature next turn would be great. Creature next turn into Surge the turn after on a land, if we're calling shots anyway. Wow, wow, that's interesting too. Maybe, what's that about? Like, I would be so inclined to wait for one more land and make this a 3/3. I'm surprised we're seeing this on 5 mana. Yeah, Gecko off the top. I'd be in for that. If we're making requests. You know, but... being loosely stable here is probably okay for us. But I really don't want to surge onto just 2 creatures. It'd be nice if we could find something else. Captain, Angel Warrior, is going to get a Warrior and a Cleric, and that's it. So it's going to be a 3/3. We don't have any flying defense right now, so it's good enough for sure. Ground is pretty well taken care of on Shambler, but like our dream draw now is almost a Diviner to set up for Surge after, and actually make our Diviner a reasonable Air Force. Interesting attack. Is this a Subtle Strike? And if so, do we say bring it? Seems like this is Subtle Strike too, which would also explain putting the Gloom Hunter out there. Yeah, we can blow up the strike with a shield. But let's start with it. Let's try and block and eat, and then we can decide if we want to use the shield or not. We got the shield. It looks like a Subtle Strike, but we have a plan. Dauntless Unity. Creatures you control get +1/+1. All right, so it's still a trade. We can decide it's a 2-for-1. We can just let the Shambler have done a pretty good job there and call that good. Kicking the Shell Shield does put a counter on the Gecko, though, and sets us up for the Surge to be better, so I think we should do it. We should do it. Not only Gecko value, but actually making this kicked Surge have some value. Yeah, we'll pump Shambler now. Riptide, great to see. It's at least a creature. We might get our hand ripped. That would suck if that happens when we're so close. But definitely playing the Riptide here. And then next turn, if we draw, we have the natural, so we can actually kick this next turn and get in for quite an attack. Do you think they block if we send the Shambler in now? Jinx says pass, but at 20, like, we're racing these flyers, it could be important to get in this damage. Right, and like with some extra damage this turn, that could be lethal next turn. Gecko they might block, although if they do want to trade Gecko for Captain, we would take it, right? Yeah, I think they think they're racing and they're not going to block. They just think they're racing, so we should just do actually both. I don't think they block. I think they're going to race, and this actually gives us a potential for a win next turn on the Surge. Man, I don't know if it's a soul read. It's kind of just like they've done so many things to let stuff die that I kind of feel like it screams they have something like that, right? Okay, so if we reclaim Kick, how does this all work? Okay, we can spend 3 mana to kick a claim, and then we get a land to play. Now, I think we save this for next turn. Can we present lethal here? We at least have to just kick the Surge now, right? And then we see how it looks. And it's a sorcery anyway. And 7, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. We don't have Vigilance, but we do have a forced block. If they block with a 2 power, they have 3, 4, 5, 6 coming back, which is not 7. It's lethal, so it does force. I'm just trying to figure out. They have to chump at least one place, which means we're not dead next turn. So I'm gonna. Well, if we leave Gecko back, then no, I think we swing. They can only put us to 1 currently. We're going to risk it. All our creatures are lethal. Yeah! Woo! Close one. So we're up against Cleric heavy, but, you know, life gain Cleric with a little party action. We got a little bit of a party going on. What do we like against all that? More party than Cleric? I don't know. Looked pretty, well, between the Gloom Hunter and the Healer and the Cleric of Lifespawn, that's what made me think it was pretty cleric-y. But at the end of the day, we saw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 total cards, so it's actually hard to say exactly what the makeup of Oppo's deck is. Yeah, that's interesting. They didn't. I don't know why they. I mean, Oppo's just not as high up on the experience ladder as we are, because they did some. They made some bluffs or some bold attacks that didn't work out. let's see now. Back to, do we do anything about this situation? I think I kind of want to just run it back. We are under assault in the air, but we have everything in the air that we're going to run. We're not going to bring in the white. So I think we're just running this back. Yeah. All right, very keepable. I think we throw down the vision here. Get Gecko, and then have action, 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 we hope. But this is a solid keep. Ooh, this says we don't necessarily have to even give up on the vision. I guess now with an untapped blue source, I'll go ahead and play a forest and see where this goes. Nice draw. Shambler is a little late, but we'll forgive it and still go with the Gecko here on 2. Royal Eruption is nice. They are on the play, right? So they're stuck on mana. That's good for us. We're not going to feel too sad about that. We're going to play our blue source here. Well, actually, we don't have a 4th land yet. We could go tapped Vision to ensure Diviner. But we also have, well, this doesn't actually reduce that, does it? I'm in the, this is for Marshall Sutcliffe, I'm going to be greedy. We're going to be greedy, gang. Greed.
The point is, ladies and gentlemen, that greed is good.
Pause from Oppo on 2 mana. You want to check the tricks? What do we think that is? Is Gecko at risk with an attack? We know that there's the practiced tactics that is not going to do anything without creatures on board. And yeah, I don't think there's a reason. Takedown doesn't do anything here either. So the point is, I think we can attack with Vine Gecko just fine. Royal Mage, let's attack first and then decide. Right. Well, Tactics needs an attacker or a blocker, and it needs them to have some creatures, right? Yeah. It needs attackers. So anyway, point is, yeah, it can't. I see what you're saying. It can't be that they might have it. It's not causing the pause, but they could have it. And if they have it, it wouldn't work anyway. Yeah. But a pause doesn't mean they don't have a card that didn't trigger the pause. If I can throw a few more negatives in there. So, do we drop a Royal Mage? Given that they're stuck on land, I say, yeah, we do. No, not Shelter. Takedown. It could be a takedown, though. Or a pump, one of the +2, one of the white +2/+2 target creature spells. Hey, I'll take it. Sorry, buddy. This is where, again, like, you can curse the shuffler and fruitlessly blame experienced coders for somehow failing at the basics of randomization. But really, it just happens to both sides. And this is one of those spots where, hey, it's easy. This is where you forget about those wins. You forget about the time where you won when your opponent kept a 2-lander and never saw a 3rd land in time, right? Today, that was a Oppo, and we're going to remember that and know that sometimes the variance is on our side. So, I liked this deck. Jinx and I were button heads a little bit on it because he was saying that he didn't like it and that it was a pile. Now, it's fine to not like it, but I just wanted to say, because I wanted to call out what Jinx is correct about, that this is not a very focused deck, right? It's being pulled in 2 directions. It's trying to do both a wizard spell thing with diviners and amulets, and it's trying to do a kicker thing with a gecko. So in your dream world, you're going to be 100% kicker or 100% spells and wizards matter. And in general, those decks are going to be much better if you manage to pull that off. That wasn't there for us. So yes, fine. This is not a 9. This is not a 10. But it's not a pile. I think we drafted the hard way and found ourselves a solid 6 or 7, 6, 7, 8. You know, I think this is an above average deck, and I would not be super disappointed to have to take this into battle. In the abstract, like, I think this is probably better than if you just pulled some random average deck from my Zendikar pile. And I think it's definitely better than the average deck out there, but it is certainly not as good as a good version of a dedicated kicker deck is, or a good version of an amulet deck is. And that's what Jinx was getting at, and is totally correct. This is not ideal. You would rather be focused, but given that we couldn't be focused, I like where we ended up. Yeah, pile sounds really negative. Whereas pile sounds like no direction at all. This is not a pile. I strongly reject that framing of this deck. So, just wanted to follow up with that thought at the end there. We'll hop back to Soapbox and claim this prize. I think it lacks singular direction. It lacks a pure focus in its direction. It had 2 directions, both of them solid, neither of them top of the line. But so regardless of which definition of pile you want to use, I just reject that framing of that deck. Even if you're not trying to be insulting of it in terms of pile means 3 out of 10, that just means lack of focus. I think it had enough focus to not be called a pile. It just had a slightly split focus. Anyway, thank you so much, YouTube friends, for hanging out for that one. Remember, you can hit that like button and help me manage the algorithms. Thank you all for joining me live here for that draft. That was a lot of fun. Let's say goodbye to our YouTube friends, though. Bye.